हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधे जय वृंदावन धाम वृंदावन धाम वृंदावन धाम जय वृंदावन धाम जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य से द होल वर्ल्ड जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद नित्यलील प्रविष्ट इस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। षड गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 1st chapter, text number 32. Kachit buddhaha anamivaha asate kachit buddhaha swasti anamiva asate swaphalka पुत्रा भगवत प्रपन्नः स्वफलकपुत्रो भगवत प्रपन्नः यः कृष्ण पादांकिता मार्गा पांशुषु यह कृष्णोपदांकिता मार्गो पांशुषु अचेष्टता प्रेम विभिन्न धीर्यः अचेष्टता प्रेम विभिन्न धीर्यः कचित् बुधा स्वस्ति अनामिवासते स्वफल्कपुत्रो भगवत्प्रपन्नः यकृष्णपदाङ्कितमार्गपांशुषु अचेष्टता प्रेम विभिन्नधैर्यः Kachit whether Buddha very learned, Swasti well, Anamivaha faultless, Asate do exist, Swapalkaputraha the son of Swapalka, Akrura, Bhagavat regarding the personality of Godhead, Prapannaha surrendered, Yaha one who, Krishna the Lord, Padankita marked with footprints, Marga path, Pamshushu dust, Acheshtata exhibited, Prema Vibhinna lost in transcendental love, Dhairyaha mental equilibrium. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Please tell me whether Akrura, the son of Swapalka, is doing well. He is a faultless soul surrendered unto the personality of Godhead. He once lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of a road which was marked with the footprints of Lord Krishna. Kindly repeat the translation. Please tell me whether Akrura, the son of Swapalka, is doing well. He is a faultless soul surrendered unto the personality of Godhead. He once lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of a road which was marked with the footprints of Lord Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When Akrura came to Vrindavan in search of Krishna, he saw the footprints of the Lord on the dust of Nandagram and at once fell on them in ecstasy of transcendental love. This ecstasy is possible for a devotee who is fully absorbed in incessant thoughts of Krishna. Such a pure devotee of the Lord is naturally faultless because he is always associated with the supremely pure personality of Godhead. Constant thought of the Lord is the antiseptic method for keeping oneself free from the infectious contamination of the material qualities. The pure devotee of the Lord is always in company with the Lord by thinking of Him. Yet, in the particular context of time and place, the transcendental emotions take a different turn, and this breaks the mental equilibrium of the devotee. Lord Chaitanya was the typical example of the transcendental ecstasy, as we can understand from the life of this incarnation of God. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we find Vidura, who is one of the greatest devotees of the Lord. He meets another great devotee of the Lord, Uddhava, who was present just before the Supreme Lord disappeared from his earthly pastimes. Mahatma Vidur actually had heard about the disappearance of the Lord, but still he is asking about all the devotees associated with the Supreme Lord, including the Supreme Lord himself. Such is the transcendental nature of a devotee of the Lord. So, here we can see he is asking Uddhava about another great devotee of the Lord, the well-being of Akrura. And wherever he is asking about the different personalities, he is always asking in relationship with the Supreme Lord. This is a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. We find throughout in the Bhagavatam, even when Vidura is asking questions to Maitreya Rishi, or when the great sages are asking questions in Naimisharanya, they are always concerned with all the topics connected to the Supreme Lord. So that is very essential. So, here he is describing Kachit Buddhaha, the very vastly learned Akrura. Swasti, he is asking about the well-being of Akrura. And he is describing him as one who is faultless. And Prabhupada explains, Anyone who is in constant touch with the Lord, because the Supreme Lord is completely pure, so he also becomes completely purified and thus faultless. So, and he's saying that what is the characteristic of this great devotee? Akrura, Bhagavat Prapannaha, he is completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord. And he is citing one very important incident, that how much he is absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme Lord. So, this is the context here, what we can see. This is a very interesting context. And Prabhupada says, Akrura's journey to Vrindavan is exemplary. So very nicely Prabhupada says, one who intends to visit Vrindavan should follow the ideal footsteps of Akrura. So, we all get good opportunity to visit Vrindavan. That is very nice. But actually, how to visit Vrindavan, how to see Vrindavan, if we can learn this art from these great personalities, then actually our visit to Vrindavan will be very fruitful. Prabhupada says, actually one cannot go to Vrindavan by purchasing a ticket. So we may be very excited, I have got a ticket and I will be able to visit Vrindavan. But Prabhupada is saying, actually one cannot go to Vrindavan just by purchasing a ticket. The process of going to Vrindavan is shown by Akrura. So how to visit Vrindavan? Actually, if we can follow in the footsteps of great personality like Akrura, then it is, that is the way how one can visit. So Prabhupada quotes one verse from Narottam Das Thakur and says, Vishaya chhadiya kabe shuddha habe mana, kabe hame hirabo Shri Vrindavana. Narottam Das Thakur is asking, when I will be able to give up my worldliness, Vishaya, all material subject matter on which our consciousness is dwelling. These are all different Vishayas. So our mind is polluted, very contaminated. So with this contaminated mind, actually we cannot see Vrindavan. So when our mind has become free from these contaminations, that is what Narottam Das Thakur is asking. Vishaya chhadiya kabe, when will that time come? When I'll be able to give up all this worldly mindedness, these contaminations of the mind being so attached to all material subject matter. Then he is saying, Kabe hame herabo Shri Vrindavana, then I shall be able to visit Vrindavan. Then I will be able to see Vrindavan. Otherwise, actually, we will be seeing with mundane understanding. Isn't it? So, Prabhupada further explains this. One who intends to visit Vrindavan should follow the ideal footsteps of Akrura. How? he should always think of the pastimes and activities of the Lord. So whatever we are doing now, we are hearing Bhagavad Kathas, we are reading Prabhupada books. They are not meant simply to speak, and they are meant so that we hear, contemplate, we repeat, and then we remember. It is not meant for others only. It is meant for remembering. The whole idea, sometimes when some devotees ask me, so this is what I tell them, that actually the more somehow or other we can contemplate, just like many devotees, they take notes. So that is also contemplation. We hear, we note down, you see. And then, whenever opportunity comes, we speak to people. It will become imprinted in our consciousness. Then we will be able to recall and remember. So, when we are coming to Vrindavan, this is the method. Rather than seeing the different things, if we are absorbed constantly, if we can do like this. Akrura started early in the morning. He did not even know when he reached Vrindavan. It is stated in Bhagavatam. He did not even know when he reached Vrindavan. It was already, the sun was setting and Krishna and Balaram were returning home after grazing their cows. That is the time when he reached Vrindavan. So how from morning to evening passed, Akrura did not even know. His mind was so absorbed in thinking about the activities and pastimes of the Lord. So this our Nityam Bhagavata Seva, it is meant for this, that our mind can be constantly absorbed in the thoughts, in the qualities, in the pastimes of the Lord. That is how it should be. So, Prabhupada further says, devotees are always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna, and Akrura constantly was thinking of Krishna's lotus eyes. So this is how it is possible that one can think of Vrindavan. So Prabhupada gives a very beautiful, that the moment finally when he understood that I have reached Vrindavan, and he saw the lotus imprint of the foot of the Lord, he was in total ecstasy, as he was when he was contemplating on the various activities and pastimes of the Lord. So, Prabhupada explains this. One should not be, we should understand all these are different varieties of samadhi of a pure devotee of the Lord. When he is thinking of the Lord, it is non-different from seeing Krishna. But still there are varieties in ecstasies. That is what Prabhupada says in today's purport very nicely. See, Prabhupada is saying, such a pure devotee of the Lord is naturally faultless because he is always associated with the supremely pure personality of Godhead. Constant thought of the Lord is the antiseptic method for keeping oneself free from the infectious contamination of material qualities. So this is so beautifully Prabhupada is saying that if you want your mind to be free from infection of this material world, Vishaya chhadiya kabe, shuddha habe mana, if we are wanting this, then this constantly thinking of the pastimes, of the name, of the activities of the Supreme Lord, that is the antiseptic method by which mind will remain completely purified. So then Prabhupada is saying, this is very interesting. Pure devotee of the Lord is always in company with the Lord. So not that when he was traveling to Vrindavan, he was not in touch with the Lord. And now he is going and having darshan of the Lord. You see, that is not the idea. So Prabhupada is saying he is constantly in touch with the Lord by thinking of him. Yet, in the particular context of time and place, the transcendental emotions take a different turn. They are all different types of ecstasies. And this breaks the mental equilibrium of the devotee. So this is how we find that he lost his all external consciousness, he fell to the ground in complete ecstasy. So, we'll just see some of the samples of how the moment he got the order from Kamsa was planning actually. He saw that Akrura is very faithful to him and he thought that he'll be the best one. After Narada disclosed the secret to Kamsa, Narada Muni was always thinking how to expedite the extinction of Kamsa, so that so many devotees who are undergoing so much of turmoil, the more it happens earlier, the more it will be better. So he wanted to expedite that. So he went and revealed the secret to Kamsa, that you are killing so many children, all those things, it's all waste. They're under the shelter of Nanda and Yashoda, Krishna and Balaram are there. In disguise, Vasudeva in the dead of the night had gone and he had sent that child. So immediately he became very, very angry and he wanted to kill immediately Vasudeva. But then he said, what will you do by killing Vasudeva? He is not going to kill you. But still he imprisoned him. And then he planned varieties of things. He immediately set out Keshi demon, Vyomasura to go and kill Krishna. And at the same time, somehow or other, if Krishna is able to escape those demons, then he thought of another plan. Then he called Akrura and he said, I am surrendered to you like Indra is surrendered to Lord Vishnu. So, please carry out my one desire, one order I give you. Take this chariot and you should plan to go to Vrindavan and bring Krishna and Balaram. I want to kill them. And he revealed his whole plan. He said, first, when Krishna and Balaram will come, I will arrange for that mad elephant. And somehow or other, if Krishna and Balaram escape that, then I will arrange for Malla Yudha with Chanur and Mushtika. So I will plan out. And after killing Krishna, and then I will, all other, his friends, Yadavas, all those people, I will finish them off. So all big plan he gave. So Akrura said, excellent plan. But then he told him, plans are excellent. But then you should understand, we may make so many plans, but we have to understand that it depends on the Supreme Lord whether He sanctions your plan or not. Isn't it? So if He sanctions, it will be successful. If He does not sanction, then you will be completely failure. And then Next day he set out to go to Vrindavan. So immediately he took the chariot, and before just setting out for Vrindavan, he started praying to the Supreme Lord. So very beautifully. And he was completely absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme Lord. So very beautifully it is all described by Prabhupada in Krishna book about this. So first point Akrura started thinking was that actually he is unfit to see Krishna. He's very unfit to see Krishna. And Prabhupada says this is one of the signs of a pure devotee. He never thinks that he has become fit to see Krishna. The more one comes to the conclusion that actually I am lower than a blade of a grass and I am completely unfit, the more actually one is advancing. So, he thought, and very beautifully the example is given, how he is comparing himself. He's thinking like this, just like person who is materialistic, he is unfit to understand the signs of God. So similarly, I am unfit to see Krishna. I am unfit to have his audience. Then he thought, just like a Shudra, he is not eligible to understand the Vedic literatures. Similarly, this is my position, that actually I am unfit to have the understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he was thinking like this. And then he was also thinking, what sort of pious activities I may have done, that today I have set out for a journey to Vrindavan. What pious activities? Otherwise I am unfit. He is thinking like this. I am completely unfit. So what pious activities I must have done that I have got this opportunity to visit Vrindavan? And then he is thinking that actually, even though I am unfit, by the grace of the mercy of the Supreme Lord, anything can be possible. Anything is possible. And very wonderful examples are given in Bhagavatam. How is he thinking like this? So he's thinking that just like sometimes in a river, there are so many grass straws are there. And practically it is tossed up and down, and so much huge journey it has to travel. But by chance sometime there is a possibility that that blade of grass, by some good fortune, comes to the bank of the river. You see, after being tossed for such a huge journey. So he is similarly thinking that living entities are similarly tossed in the material waves, up and down from different species of life. And one, if he is fortunate enough, like me, may get a chance to come to the shore. And he is thinking that this is the perfection of my life, if I get this opportunity. So, this is one of the things he is thinking. Then he is thinking that actually he is going to have darshan of the Supreme Lord. How much fortune it is. Because even the greatest of the mystics, greatest of the yogis, they desire to see the lotus feet of the Lord. And even they don't get this opportunity. Actually, we should be very, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, the mercy of the Supreme Lord, that prema, which is actually the most important treasure, which is not given ordinarily, is ordinarily being distributed to all of us who are completely unfit. Isn't it? So that is what he is thinking about, his good fortune. That even great mystics don't get this chance to have the vision of the Supreme Lord. And I am having this chance to go to Vrindavan and have the audience of the Lord. Isn't it? We should also count on our blessings, how Akrura is counting. Isn't it? So important. And then he is thinking that when this happens, all on that day, all the sinful activities of my past life will be completely wiped off just by seeing the Supreme Lord face to face. And my human life will get the perfection for what it is meant. And then further he is thinking, how much I am favored by Kamsa. Such a great favor Kamsa has done on me. Even though he is sending me on a mission to get Krishna so that Kamsa can kill him, but actually he is thinking about his good fortune, that Kamsa has been very favorable to him, that he has given him this task by which he will be actually able to have the darshan of the Lord. And he is saying, formerly, great sages and saintly persons were liberated from the material world simply by seeing the shining nails of the lotus feet of Krishna. So this opportunity I will be able to have to see the lotus feet of the Lord, by which greatest of the yogis were able to be liberated just by seeing the shining of the nails of the lotus feet of the Lord. So Kamsa has been very favorable to me. He is thinking like this. And then Prabhupada is saying he was thrilled. See, this is the ecstasy he is undergoing when he is constantly thinking about all these things. He is thrilled with the expectation to see the same very lotus feet of the Lord, which are worshipped by the greatest of the devatas. Greatest of the devatas and devotees. And he is thinking, Akrura is thinking, these very lotus feet, they are worshipped by Mother Lakshmi, they are worshipped by Lord Shiva, they are worshipped by Brahma, they are worshipped by even Narada. Those very lotus feet, I will be able to see them. So he's thinking like this. And he's saying, the very lotus feet which traverse the ground of Vrindavan, that very lotus feet which touched the breasts of the gopis which were covered with tinges of kumkum, the same very lotus feet which are very dear to the gopis, I will be able to see those lotus feet. And then he's thinking, I think it's already time. Okay, maybe 5 minutes I will take and we'll finish. And then he's thinking, I shall be able to see the beautiful face of Krishna. So after the lotus feet, now he's thinking about the face of Krishna, which is marked on forehead and nose with tilak. And then he's thinking, I'll be able to see the smile, beautiful smile of Krishna, his curly black hairs. And then suddenly some deers passed on his right side. And he's saying that actually this is a good sign. This is a very auspicious sign that what I am thinking is going to happen. So he's saying that yes, I can be sure of what I am contemplating because I can see the deers are passing on my right side. So today it will be possible to see the beauty of the spiritual kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada explains that, so I think it is a sign for me that already taken a lot of time. Should end. So I'll just finish this last portion. You'll be thinking you are telling always last portion, and extending. So he's saying, today I will be able to see the beauty of the spiritual world. So actually Vrindavan is the expansion of the original Goloka Vrindavan. With our mundane eyes, actually, we are not able to see. We don't fall in ecstasy when we see the Vrindavan dhuli, isn't it? When we are seeing the dust of Vrindavan, where are we falling? When we see Govardhan, just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he saw the way, the ecstasy he felt, isn't it? We don't feel, because we are all seeing with mundane eyes. When our mind is purified and our consciousness is imbued with love of the Lord, with the thoughts of the Lord, then we will be able to relish. Otherwise it will be just like that. It is just like so much difference we find. For us it is so difficult to chant even 16 round. Can you imagine a state of consciousness where Rupa Goswami is saying, my dear Lord, one tongue, 1 ear. Give me millions of tongues, give me millions of ears. I can chant your name millions of times. I can hear the holy name millions of more times. That can be the state of consciousness. Just like Raghunath Das Goswami was living in Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they were living in Vrindavan, always in separation. He Radhike Vrajagopike cha. Correct? So that kind of state of consciousness can be achieved when we practice in the footsteps of how it is given by these great personalities. Then it will be possible that definitely one day we will be able to achieve that, isn't it? So he's thinking that actually he has got the perfection of his life. He'll be able to see Vrindavan with his own eyes. So, and finally he is thinking that actually so much necessity is there of the pastimes of the Supreme Lord for mundane people to hear, to think about the holy name, activities, pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their whole life can become auspicious. Everyone's life can become auspicious. And he gives the example, he says, otherwise the civilization is just like decoration of the dead body. Otherwise the civilization is like that. So all of you can go through this very beautiful pastime, and how then finally when he sees the footprint, he is absorbed like this, and then finally he realizes he has come to Vrindavan, and then he sees the footprint of the Lord, and he is completely in ecstasy, gets down from his chariot and starts rolling on the ground. And Prabhupada says, comments there, this is how one should be, irrespective of his prestige in the society, irrespective of how big he is. When he comes to Vrindavan, he should put the dust of the holy dham on his head. That is how to honor Vrindavan. So there are many more things, I think, when you can go through it and see more. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.